Pow! Today we're going to learn something. We're going to learn why the Europeans back in the days was not happy with the J people.
Has survived until the modern day,
Let's start over.
guarded by secret societies. There have been many mystical orders that claim to possess ancient esoteric knowledge that has survived until the modern day, guarded by secret societies that allegedly utilize these occult secrets for supposed physical vitality, psychic endowment, spiritual enlightenment, and establishing a political agenda. Most, if not all of these orders, trace their origins to the ancient Aryan Magi of Mesopotamia, which is where we get the modern word for magician, and whose esoteric practices were said to have been passed down since the mythical times of Atlantis. Whether that's true or not, what seems to be clear is these Central Asian or Eurasian mystics influenced various cults from Babylon to Egypt, passing on their Kabbalistic knowledge to the Knights Templar, who in turn brought it back into Europe, influencing groups such as the Rosicrucians and Freemasons, which allegedly hold a high degree of political influence across the globe. One of the lesser known secret societies which held a considerable amount of influence in the 18th century Europe was called the Asiatic Brethren. Started in Vienna, Austria, their foundation paralleled a more popular Rosicrucian order, and while this organization played a significant role in the emergence of Adam Weishaupt's Order of the Bavarian Illuminati, they ceased to exist relatively quickly. The Asiatic Brethren has been one of the critical forerunners of the Golden Dawn and many of its descendants, as well as to be an influential force on occult practitioners such as ceremonial magician Eliphas Levi and P.B. Randolph, who introduced the principles of erotic alchemy to North America, establishing the earliest known Rosicrucian order in the United States. Of course, the Asiatic Brethren were influenced by earlier movements, most notably the Kabbalistic concepts put forth by Sabbatai Zevi, who declared himself Messiah in 1666, who was considered a heretic by Orthodox Judaism for transgressions such as pronouncing the Holy Tetragrammaton in public, breaking dietary laws, engaging in forbidden carnal activities, and wedding Sarah, a young Polish prostitute who proclaimed she would be married by the Messiah. Sabbatai's real impact and charisma stemmed from the divine acts which he performed, often just after emerging from the dark night of depression or after having sung psalms for hours in a seeming trance-like state of emotional bliss. He also encourages followers to engage in promiscuous activity, and as shocking as they were, Sabbatai proclaimed that the meaning of these paradox acts was obvious to him while he was in ecstasy, and utterly inaccessible and heretical even to himself once he had returned to his normal state of being. Despite being banished by local rabbis several times and causing shock and outrage amongst Orthodox Jewish leaders, he and his charismatic wife gained a large following and eventually established their power base in Greece and Turkey. From there, his influence grew further and quickly spread all across Europe. Sabbath.
One of the things that they were doing was they would molest their children, and then they would reveal to them at 35 the doctrine. And they were doing this all over Europe, and they're still Sabateans to this day, but they were abusing other people's kids and maybe even sacrificing them. I don't know. I think so. But not all Jews were doing that. But this group was hiding amongst the other ones. So when people would just finally get fed up they would be banishing them out of countries. This is just one of the things today. Whenever they were going through um, um, Sigmund Freud's notes, the estate, he had all of his notes, and one of the guys that was working there wanted to translate his notes from German. And when he did, he found that although early in life, um, the the whole idea with like your wanting to have sex with your mother or you're wanting to have sex with your father, all his theories were based upon gaslighting the children that were being abused. And then after he turned 35, he co-signed the abuse too. And they found it in all these notes. When Freud came out and said that, hey, these children are actually being abused, nobody wanted to hear his theories. But when he pretended that they just had that psychological yearning after their parent, everybody went along with it. That was the key to his success, because he was a piece of shit and a pedophile. You know who else was a pedophile? Christopher Columbus. It was. Let's check our sources real fast. Damn, my phone died. I can't do it. Hold on. Yes, I can. What do you think? I've always heard that Christopher Columbus was a pedo. I'm sick of pedos fucking prancing around acting like they're not pedos in front of everybody. That shit's gotta stop. I'm gonna have to ask Google. Whoa, 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 get out of here. Was Christopher Columbus a pedophile? He was a rapist and a pedophile. 3 of these say he was. Columbus was a horrible genocider, murderer, pedophile. Genocidal rapist and pedophile Christopher Columbus. Genocidal rapist. Who's this by? NewsClick. Christopher Columbus, rapist, pedophile. Continue. Christopher Columbus. These are all in the affirmative. I think he was. I'm sorry, Chris. You can't discover America if it was already here and people lived here. How are you going to discover a place where people are already at? You can't. That ain't how shit works. I don't even think he knew where he was at. That fucking guy. Actually, there's a lot of stuff in the Dark Journalist and different I think definitely maybe the Archivist. Some of the stuff that I've seen on those channels suggests that they actually knew about America for a long time. For a long time. Before they started the age of exploration. I'm not sure they had any maps or anything like that, but I know that they knew of its existence. Okay? So we clear on that? This is why people are mad at the Jays people. It's because there's a sect of them that do this heinous ass shit, and it's part of their religion. I can't get behind that. I'm sorry. And I think that's what's in control of Israel now, that group of people. So that ought to go to show you there that that shit's no good. It's no good, boss. So if you are blessing Israel, as in the state of being of the Christed uh, soul, I can accept that. But if you're trying to bless the land and that government, I think you're falling for Satan. I think you're falling for a satanic trap. And I don't advise it. Don't give your love to vipers. Vipers are just going to bite you. They just going to bite you. Them sneaky snakes going to sneak and bite you. Den of vipers. That's what Jesus called them. Goddamn Pharisees. You're a den of vipers. You're just like your father, the devil.